Hello. So I've had this base that I've needed to work on for a one-off mini. It is a salamander mini, so a lot of people do stereotypical lava bases. Now, I also wanted to kind of do a stereotypical lava base, but I wanted mine to be a little bit different. So I did the crackle stuff. It did not work. So I took a pocket knife, scraped this clean, and I'm repainting the base bright orange just because I'm like, okay, do the same thing. Do the same thing, but with some different materials, and we'll see how it turns out. And I truly had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't following a guide. I wasn't doing nothing specific. I didn't look up anyone else's stuff. I have camera problems. This camera's going to sit there and slowly rotate to the left counterclockwise. But I knew that I use my urban medium grit, which is you'll see here in a little bit, for a lot of my bases for Death Watch and Chaos, and I'm like, oh, it'd be fantastic as like ground or like rocks and stuff for like a lava base because lava when it cools it becomes a rock, so you just have like a bunch of little chunks of like little tiny rocks. And if I remember correctly, I threw two black rocks up on it, but I went and got some super glue first because I knew if I'm gonna do this I want to do it fast, so I don't want to use PVA glue. So I'm just gonna grab some super glue, and I use super glue a lot for my basing now. I used to use a lot of PVA glue, but just because it's PVA glue has more than one problem. The other problem is PVA glue will sometimes just release, and you'll have a new mini on disc. Zinch will have taken your mini, thrown him on a disc of your choosing, and bam, new mini design. I've had it happen multiple times on stream. We've had a dreadnought on disc before, which is very kind of like frustrating and scary. But this totally avoids that. This totally avoids the problem of your PVA glue just and popping off of the base. So now I'm getting the now that we got the oh, I can't think of what's called super glue all set up, which is I just used like a tool for like sculpting clay. Um, there's the material I use. If I remember correctly, it's from Huge Miniatures, and it's Urban Medium Grit, and there's Urban Fine Grit. I have them both mixed up in there, and see how it comes out kind of rocky. That looked fantastic. Now I'm 90% sure I fill in a couple spots, and we're gonna make a quick cut because I have to let that sit and dry any second now. There we go. So we're gonna have be at this angle because I am airbrushing on camera. Now, I don't airbrush paint a lot except for just priming my minis. That's what my main airbrush is. You can fight me. This is a good way to test your airbrush, okay? Do it in a paper towel. Don't necessarily do it into your hand. That's how I do it. But I wanted to get rid of everything on like the right hand side. I wanted to get rid of any of that yellow or the orange. That way I can have like a couple a couple cracks of lava. I'm keeping that in. A couple cracks of lava kind of just flowing up, and maybe there's some bubbling up from underneath the ground. So I was like, okay, let's make the one side darker. Let's get this. And I'm no airbrush expert, but I hate using airbrushes for one reason. This is the main reason I don't paint with them. Cleaning them out every single time after you use them. I don't have a kitchen sink. I don't have a sink right next to my painting area. So I always have trouble with cleaning them out. And it's not necessarily trouble, it's just cleaning them out good enough. So I have some airbrush thinner. I do a couple drops of paint uh, into the airbrush thinner because honestly, in my personal opinion, I like to have more paint than airbrush thinner because it's not too watered down. As long as the paint can come out, that's good enough for me. And I always have these sculpting tools that I use to stir stuff, and I use them for everything. Honestly, really good purchase. So I always test it out on my hand, and as you can see there, that was super watery. So I wanted to add a couple more drops as soon as I actually open this. I might have added too much if I remember right. Nope, I did not. A quick stir up, and we should be ready to go. Oh, I even did it on camera. Look at me. Look at past me. I'm just voiceovering this. And you can see how much finer that is. It's not watery. It again, probably don't do this in your hand. I've grown up on a farm, so probably I've had worse things in my hands than acrylic paint. And then now This is the problem with airbrushing that I have. I'm not that good, and not only that, it's a cheap $40 airbrush. I don't expect it to keep the best control. I knew I wanted to do some kind of like glow effect, but I knew I wasn't going to do the glow effect on the salamander, because the salamander itself is a mini from a video asking myself if I could paint a mini in an hour. And that salamander says, yes, I can. So we first start with orange, because I'm thinking lava, let's go orange, red, some white, do some yellow. And so we start with the orange, do the base coat. We switch it over after I clean it out. Any second now, I'm going to come out with that red paint. We do a very bright red. Now, I probably could have done a darker red and then did a brighter red, but I just went straight into the bright red. And you're going to watch right now what happens is, first off, I didn't test my airbrush. Oh, no, it actually works fantastic. Does it work good? Okay, it works better than I thought. I thought this was the part where my airbrush just like shot out a bunch of extra paint. So at this point, I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's honestly, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing at this point. I'm just like, let's just try airbrushing it. So I get more and more through it, and I'm kind of like, this isn't really turning out very well. I don't know what the deal is with this base, why it's not turning out very well. Maybe I hit it with another color, because you can see right there, you can see hints of orange, but it's mostly red. And again, probably used the wrong color of red, and I am going right into all the orange that I hit, and I'm just all like, this isn't turning out good. Maybe after I get this done, maybe some yellow helps. It'll add some lighting. And so we get to the point where I had a literal meltdown, because the yellow paint that I use is in the same dropper bottle as the one on screen. And this fucking thing, dude, this thing did not want to. Actually, no, it's not in the same dropper bottle. I'm sorry. I have a dropper bottle for it. Unless I went back to orange. I might have gone back to orange. I don't remember what I did. What did past me do? Past me. We went back to orange, because I realized it's just too red. I want to have some lava done. I want it to be orangish more than red. I prefer the orange glow over the red. I know, I'm just trying to do a lighting thing, really is all it is. And then after I do that, I'm all like, well, again, I need to add more. Always have more paint than airbrush thinner. Otherwise, it will like it'll be too watery. So after a quick check, we go back over it again, and I just take away all the red paint that I just did. This is the reason why I don't airbrush much, because it's incredibly frustrating. And you can still see some underglow of the red, but you can see kind of like right now, I'm just all like, fuck, what am I gonna do with this? So I'm like, you know what, let's get some glow effects going. Let's get some rocks shining, some red rocks, some glowing rocks. Now, actually, if you look at it from this angle, it looks very good, but camera's a little bit different, and I said, you know what, we need a little bit of white paint in this. So I get everything set up to airbrush some white paint, because I'm all like, you know what, we're gonna do white, and then we're gonna do yellow for like the final glow. That is not enough white paint in there, okay? That is 99%. The mixing solution I'm doing right now is 99% airbrush thinner. There we go. We go with the more white paint, because if I would have sprayed that, it would have just been pure water that came out. So we get that mixed up real quick. I'm not fast forwarding this either. This is all just me off the cuff, off the riff, the way I like doing these videos. So quick airbrush. You see how it kind of splattered? Oh, then it went to normal. That's because the first one had too much airbrush thinner. I've learned this from personal experience. The less airbrush thinner you have to paint ratio, the less it's gonna like bubble out like it kind of did there. So quick check, and then we just hit it with white. We're gonna hit it with white so we can bring yellow in over the top. And you can see that my airbrush aim is absolutely dog shit. Because I just painted all rocks right there. I'm painting more of the rocks over here. I'm like, you know what? Let's give the rocks some shine. And then maybe I'll figure out what in goddamn I'm doing in this, because at this point I'm just frustrated. And I'm like, do I just like paint it black? What do I need to do? I'm like, you know what? Maybe let's see what some yellow does. I got my little yellow in the corner there. That's the dropper that I used. That thing was a giant pain, and it shot out way more paint than it needed to, especially than that you could see. You could see the paint's all over the place. It's all over my hand. It's all over everything. So I'm like, okay, the yellow's gonna come out good. So I start painting, and I'm like, just gonna do a yellow glow just for lighting, and I'm fighting my airbrush. There's a little bit of yellow coming out. You can see at the very bottom of that. And it's just like, I gotta sit there and work my airbrush. I'm sitting there like working the little trigger on the airbrush to make it so it actually spits it out. So at that point, I was like, fuck it. We're done using airbrushes. Let's get the dry brush out. Let's actually do this with the brush, because I'm not doing it with an airbrush no more. And in a second now, I get yellow paint. I get a different yellow paint. It's not even the paint I was using. And I like test it on my hand to make sure it's gonna be good enough, thin enough. I test a lot of stuff on my hand. So we hit it with what did we hit it with? Yeah, we did hit it with yellow. So yellow is a super bright color, and that kind of gave me an idea. I'm like, yellow, white, they kind of work well with contrast paints. So I think to myself, you know what? All these are bright colors. Am I thinking that to myself? What is past me doing? Is past me doing what I think he's doing? He better be doing what I think he's doing. Am I going to use the contrast red paint, aka the army painter paint, for this? Please? Yes! Okay, so I was on the right track. So this is a contrast paint. It works very well. And I was like, I need more red. It's all drowned out with the yellow from the airbrush and the dry brush. I'm no dry brush expert as well, but I'm all like, you know what? Let's fill in some of this contrast paint that's red. Now it looks darker than it ends up being, but I want the base to be red, and and there's cuts in here so stuff can dry. Otherwise, it would be an hour-long video. It's already a long video to start with, if I remember correctly. It's already like almost a 20-minute long video. But I use this red contrast paint because I knew it would kind of glow. It would kind of go on the rocks. It would cover up the yellow. And you see how we got the one line and then like little chunks of lava like shooting out. I'm like, okay, this is a really good idea for a base. And I'm like, okay, it's still too yellow. It needs to be a little bit orange. A little bit more orange. And any second now, I should do something. So I get some orange paint ready because, like I said, it was too red, too yellow. So I dab in some orange. I just want to do it in the center, and that's all of where I was going for. Anywhere where there was red, I just wanted orange in the center. And orange is one of those paints that's kind of a pain to deal with. And not only that, but I mean, I'm looking at the model after it's fully painted, and this was kind of the right call to do, because not only after that, I go right on top of it with yellow, which is yellow again, a pain of a paint to use, and somehow it blends fantastically by the time everything dries up. Not only that, I am kind of just mixing some yellow and orange paint on the model, because that orange paint is not dry. That orange paint's not dry at all. Especially when I was like, fuck it. Let's do some yellow in here. Oh, because at this point, I'm just like, you know what? We can't mess this base up more. If I have to do it, I'll just paint it black again and start over. So we get further into the paint job, and I'm like, oh, this is looking way better. Way better. I'm all like, you know what? I think I need to go back and hit some of these rocks with red, and it would help reddish orange. It would help with the reddish orange. Now, I'm actually using Blood Red by Army Painter. Touch too red, but after it dries, it'll look way better. It won't be as red. It'll be more of a softer red after it dries. And what do we do next? I don't remember what we do next. We knock over paints. That's what we do next. Classic me. Always knocking over everything and not knowing where anything is on my desk. Speaking of, I forgot to put a lid on a paint. Oh, I went back over it with a... Oh, I know what I'm doing here. I went back over it with a white wash. Now, you might think, what are you talking about, a whitewash? It is at least a 1/3 ratio of water. You could probably go a little bit heavier than that. As long as you're under half and half, you want more paint to water ratio. And I'm just going back and hitting areas because I'm like, you know what? This is the point where I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing even further. It's not getting any better. So you know what? Let's whitewash it a little bit. And then we're going to go back in with, I want to say the red paint and go over some areas with it due to the fact that, no, we went over it with yellow. That's right, because I had concerns of going straight onto that with yellow. And the only reason why we did it with yellow was because yellow works well on white, and if it's a little wet for the white paint, then it'll kind of water down the yellow so it's not as intense. Because I wasn't looking for like the most intense yellow. I'm not looking for Iron Warriors Hazzy stripes right here. All I want is a subtle highlight, and at this point I'm like, okay, the base is starting to actually come together a little bit better. It's coming together way better than I originally thought, and I have no idea how I've continued to fail forward so much. So we give this, well, what are we doing? Oh, I touched up some areas. I wanted to get rid of some of the glow. That's right. The airbrush went a little wild, so I was like, you know what? That side needs to go back to being black. And if I remember correctly, I hit the right side. Oh, I started painting the rim. I'm pretty sure I hit the right side. I'm looking at the model. I hit the right side. Past me? What the fuck are you doing, bro? This guy's such a dork. People who are listening. The guy who's painting right now is the biggest dork ever. Trust me, I'm him. So, at some point here, past me actually does start painting that. Any second now. What are you doing past me? Just paint. It's black paint. I don't even know what I was doing. I'm pretty sure in my head, oh, we had to go get more red paint because an area was a little bit wider than I expected. I don't know what the hell past me's doing. I don't remember doing this. This was 2 days ago. So, now I get the black paint. And I wanted to have this side also be a little bit black. That way it wasn't just a glow effect for half of the model space. And then we just do a quick... Voiceover me needs to hold his tongue. I almost said now we just do a quick rim job around the base of the Mini. Which is not what we did. We painted the base edge of the Mini. And usually I don't do this, but this is for kind of a one-off Mini sort of deal. And I was like, you know what, let's make this one look good. So we clean up the base a little bit more. And then, for final touches, after I actually get this around, I believe I let it sit and dry for a little bit, so there might be... Oh, no, there is no cut. There's no cut. I'm watching the video right now. There's no cut. I just grabbed the Mini, and I proceed to super glue him on. Now, there's a reason why I use super glue on... I don't know what anyone else uses. What does everyone else use to put their Mini on their base? Because I always use super glue, and I've had no other than push fit Minis, which is, of course, you could just push those in. What else would you use other than super glue to base your Mini? Like, glue it to its base. Because PLA is going to take way too long. It's going to change the color in some areas. Super glue also changes the color in some areas when you do too much of it. But past me is the most impatient person in the world, and I super glue this down real quick, thinking, "Oh, this looks fantastic." Immediately pick it up. What the fuck was I thinking? And I'm just like, you know what? Let's just put it down there, and we'll just leave it alone, and we'll let it dry. So, after all of that, I would like to say thank you. The base is done. The model looks fantastic. I appreciate everyone for their memberships and the Patreons and all of those lovely names going by, and the great people in the Discord community for making these pieces of artwork for me to use in my outros. I do have a specific channel in that for the Discord. And like, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff. Hype the video if you're watching on your phone. Anything else I need to say that YouTube always likes me to say? You can, best way to support the channel is become a member. You can do that for $8. Well, $1 and some change. Other than that, I will see you in the next one. So wherever you are in the world, have a good evening and or night, and I will see you later. Bye.